everyone, my name is Ashley and I am the owner and designer behind AGH Digital. I'm really thrilled to be able to bring you the 2024 Small Business Planner. This is building off of everything we've learned together the past few years, as well as being just bigger and better than the digital planners you've had from us in the past. If you have purchased in the past our 2023 Salon Digital Planner, you'll find that this is really all of that and much, much more, as well as being opened up to include more service-based businesses. So you don't necessarily have to be in the salon space or the beauty world to enjoy this. This is for pet groomers, counselors, those who see clients on an appointment basis, as well as just any sort of small business, really. This is going to go through some of the foundational parts of the planner. I'm going to take you through this whole tour of everything, but if you have used any of our planners in the past, you'll recognize this, our typical homepage structure here, the dashboard of the planner. And from there, we're going to walk through each of the features as well as some of the new additions. I am really, really excited about this, and it has been a labor of love to get this planner ready for you in time for the 2024 year, as well as just helping you build your business and find the results you're looking for. So let's get to it. This is one of several different colorways possible. I'm going to show you this on the multicolored version just because it's easier to see on video. And I'm using a 12.9-inch iPad Pro with Apple Pencil in GoodNotes 6. Now, this planner is really compatible with many different devices as well as many different note-taking programs. If you have specific questions about compatibility, please feel free to leave a comment on this video or visit us on the Etsy shop and leave a message there. It is aghdigital.etsy.com. All right, let's get started, shall we? So the first page of the planner is our traditional dashboard view. We have, of course, our month tabs across the top. We have our topic tabs over here on the right. And then there are two navigational buttons that I want to bring your attention to. And this one here takes you to the appointment planner on any page of the entire business planner. And then this little purple guy here, which is just being covered by the GoodNotes menu collapsing. This brings you back to this dashboard page from anywhere in the planner. I find that I tend to not flip through pages, but actually navigate by touch. And when I want to get back to this page in order to quickly link to something else, I find these to be really useful. So touching this dot will take you to the first page of the appointment planner, and then you can navigate from there, or touching this one, there you go, will take you back to the dashboard page. So this is our hub. This is where we get all of our tools at a glance, at a click, and you'll see everything kind of here in green refers to money. Your purples are really your marketing. Everything in this kind of like pinky peach color is planning and goal setting. And then of course you have miscellaneous / appointment book here in this peachy orange color. And you'll see, of course, the month tabs will take you to the month. We've got the month of January. I've got a couple notes in here that I need to remember, and then over to February, of course, and so on and so forth. They're all color coded, so that way, if you see purple, you know you're in March. If you see, a light reddish purple, you know you're in May. And that way, it's just meant to kind of drive home that you're in a specific month, as well as, of course, the month title. So let's go back to our dashboard. There we go. So you've got your month at a glance. Essentially with month at a glance, you're looking at almost the same as the month calendar view, but this is really for pre-planning. Month at a glance is to take a look at your entire month and plan revenue goals, any important dates you need to remember, and then, are you saving for your business? How can you make that happen for yourself? Any goals and things you need to remember, of course, any takeaways from the month. What were your wins? What were your challenges? I think one of the biggest parts of digital planning or planning in general is tracking results. When you're not used to being a planning person, sometimes it's just really helps to go back and look at what were my wins? What did I really succeed at? And how did I make it happen for myself and the actions that I took? And that's really one of the best ways to reinforce planning. And I think planning is something that small businesses often will, neglect or leave to the wayside. And so that's why this planner is just so important when planning in general. So we've got month at a glance, of course. So then once we go back to our dashboard, let's take a look at the weekly social planner. This is essentially where you make your hub of what you're going to post on your social media channels. We have all of the popular platforms here. And then before you post, take it through the checklist. Did you edit your video? Did you write your caption? How did I do this week versus last week? Do I have any opportunities coming up with clients this week where I can film some great content? What are some trends? What are some audios happening on TikTok or Instagram Reels where I could capitalize and apply it to my business? Really just kind of a big blue sky version of digital planning. So I love the weekly social planner. There are several of these pages, but just like anything within this planner, if you need more, just duplicate. When it comes to digital planning, if you want to personalize your entire planner, you are welcome to do so. I just ask that you don't delete any pages because it will break some of the links. So obviously this is under our marketing tab because we are in our social planner. And if we take it back to our dashboard, let's head over to the income tracker. The income tracker, this is for you to track your sales. How many services did you perform? Were there any tips? Did they pay with cash or card? Then you can obviously write any totals down here. I love this one. It's just really important to keep track of how you're doing because for goal setting reasons, you really need to know what you can affect to make an even bigger and better change for the next month. Then we have our very popular appointment book. Now, this appointment book takes you through a Sunday through Saturday view, and then you write in the hour since everybody's hours and operational hours are different. And let's say you need to maybe take an appointment for someone, but you're not sure what you actually have planned on January 5th, and you need to take a look at January 5th, you could just click that and it opens the daily view for January 5. Now, it's cross-linked. This is so cool. If you want to jump back to that appointment day, just click that day and you're back in that day in the appointment book, which makes it so easy to navigate. If you want to take a look at the next week, we've got an example of how you could possibly lay out your appointment book. We have, of course, our hours written here or typed in here. And then this is at a glance what your day looks like. I want to see the 12th. Boom, we're on the 12th. So you can take a look at your personal schedule, your business schedule, whatever you want to write on these daily pages. And these are all, of course, linked. Takes you right back to the appointment book for that day, which I think is just so different than all the other digital planners out there, especially for something that is business serving. That's the appointment book at a glance. Let's take a look at the holidays list. Any service-based business obviously needs to know when everybody's going to be off of work or having a bank holiday. Of course, we have US, Canadian, and UK holidays just based on where most of our clients are located. Back to the dashboard, and then we have our email marketing plan. This is also under the marketing tab. And just think about, if you're setting up emails for your business, sending them out to your customer base. We have a whole planner here, a checklist to take you through to make sure that those are effective for you and helping you reach your goals in email marketing. Then, of course, we have our sales tracker, slightly different than our income tracker because we want to take a look at, did we do for the entire month versus piecemeal line items. This is like tips and bonuses. How do we do in our retail sales, if any? How much did we spend on supplies? Can we cut that down? What were our total expenses? And then unlike really any other digital planners I've seen in this space, we have the ability to do a profit or loss percentage and dollars. Here are some call outs. Hey, I spent way too much on supplies, or I know my expenses in March are going to be much higher, so I'm going to write that in here. Here's how much I've saved for taxes. And then here's where I'm going to project for 2025 what my sales goal will be with a percentage increase. So if I know what I did in January 2024, and I'm going to shoot for a 10% increase across all verticals for the next year, here's what I'm shooting for. This is one of the most important pages in this entire planner, just as far as growing your business and helping achieve goals. Next, we're going to move to important contacts. This is a place for you to sort of drag and drop into this by importing your lease. Insert the pages of the document or put the link to where you maybe have stored it in Google Drive. And then just next page, obviously, your business license, insurance policies and certificates, proof of coverage, your professional licenses and certificates, any SDS for any type of chemical you may use. It's really designed to put it all together in one space for you so that you don't have to go back through emails or try to find something in your Dropbox. You can literally just put it into this planner, copy and paste it, and put it in here so that you can always have it available to you in one place. Next, let's look at quarterly review. Again, the best part of planning and the thing that really helps it stick for most of my customers and myself, of course, is reviewing after the fact, not just pre-planning, but going back and looking at your results and saying, what were my wins? What was the progress over the last quarter? What am I going to focus on the next quarter? And then what were my challenges? And what can I do to really lessen them or make them not so much of a challenge the next quarter? So this is under the plans tab. I really like this one. Then we go to our social media workbook, which is different than the planner. Here is where if you don't necessarily have a social media strategy, or you want to fine tune it and really get into the details of what your strategy is, this is a workbook that you can go through. And this is something that if you had last year's planner, you may recognize. So then we have our supply tracker, which takes us to supplies. This is such a great thing to do to keep track of, especially with the way the economy is moving and how inflation is moving, to just compare and contrast. Sometimes the item that you purchase for your business over and over again that you thought you were getting the absolute best price on no longer is the case due to supply shortages, inflation, what have you. This way you are able to keep track of what are the things that I purchase, where do I get them from, when did I last order it, and how much did I pay, and then when do I plan to reorder. And of course you have your inventory. This is for, potentially any retail items you sell or items on hand that you need to make sure you have a certain amount. Next we have brain dump. Sometimes when you're in between clients and you want to just really brainstorm, think about all of the ideas you potentially have for promotions, marketing, services, the brain dump is really the place to put it. It's all about not editing and just writing everything and being really accepting of any ideas that flow through. And then we have, of course, our goal setting tab. This is something that we've built off of from the 2023 planner, really just taking you through a smart action plan and helping you go through, like, am I setting really general goals like, oh, I want to stay in business for 5 years, or I want to improve my sales by more than last year? This is going to help you get that more specific and really dial in on what your goal is. Of course, the content calendar that I gave you a little bit of a preview of, you can use these prompts as a jumping off point for just what kind of content you can create and share that day, kind of a month at a view. And then you can create your own and just really build off of what's working and what's not working. I think it's just interesting to see when you go back and look through your social media results and the content that you're creating, what are your clients and potential clients gravitating to, and how can you create more of that type of content? So the only way to really track that is to keep track of it. All right, we've got our expense tracker, which is one of my faves because it can be a bit of a rude awakening when you actually write these all down. But what were your expenses by month? And this will really help you during tax time. Sometimes just the act of writing it down can help drive home like, ooh, wow, I probably could cut some of these. And then we go to our marketing results tracker, which is under the marketing tab. This is really where everybody wants to pursue, obviously, more followers and an increase in sales and business, finding new clients. Here's where you track those results. By month in January, where did we end on Instagram? How many new email signups did we have? What were our engagement percentages? And how much revenue did all of that effort generate for us? And really it's, and there's a place here where you can add your own metric. I find this to be a big eye-opening exercise as well. If we're spending a lot of time creating content for Instagram and TikTok, but we're not seeing the revenue generated, then what are we doing? How can we course correct? All right, promotions calendar. This is where you can write, hey, we're going to do buy one, get one for this week. We know a brand that we sell is having a online sale. We're going to match something for maybe like an Amazon Prime Day. Here's where you could kind of take a look at the year at a glance and just plan that ahead of time. And this is a great place to sort of get a bird's eye view of it and make sure that you're not number one, running too many promotions, but also that you see that they're in a regular cadence and that they're organized and that they make sense to a potential client. All right, then we've got our service pricing workbook. You guys, this is such a phenomenal thing. I'm really, 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 really excited to get this in your hands. This is something that many service-based businesses struggle with, and you'll hear all the time, you've got to do the math. Well, this is where you'll actually be able to do that math. Now, again, this is sort of a high-level overview of service pricing, and it gives you some formulas and things to think about when you're setting your prices. A lot of us in service-based businesses look at what other businesses in our area in a comparable category are charging and then charge based off of that. We haven't actually sat down and done the math and thought about, does this make sense for what I'm trying to accomplish? Am I pricing my services correctly to make the profit margin percentage that I need to in order to be a sustainable business, to take care of my bills, to stay in business? So here we've got our personal expenses. This is where you're going to list everything that is personal, whether it's your rent and mortgage, your utilities, your subscriptions, memberships, all of those sorts of things. And you're going to list them all here and then get your total monthly expenses. On the next page, it really walks you through super clearly how to calculate this. But the reason for focusing on personal expenses is to give you a better picture of what bills do you actually need to cover in your business? What sort of revenue does your business need to generate on a regular basis in order to cover these? So if we're just sort of thinking about a general number, then our plans are going to be general and they likely generally won't work. Here is where you can really dial down into the nitty-gritty. So you're going to come up with these numbers and they're going to feed into the next box, and it walks you through how to do that. We've got our cost per service. We have our minimum service price, your current pricing, and everything's color-coded to tell you, hey, you got to bring that number over from the previous page. Your profitability. Are you profitable? Can you do something to change that? Are your services popular? Do you hold on to one specific service that maybe just one person wants and it's costing you a lot of money to keep it on your menu? Here's where you go through all of that, and then we bring it into the brain dump. So I think on its own, the service pricing section is really worth the entire cost of the planner, because it's going to help you come to some great realizations and revelations on how you're pricing your services. So this guy right here is the most exciting new addition to the 2024 planner, and I am really excited for your feedback. I hope that you love it as much as I do. And a planner wouldn't be a planner without blank notes. This is where we keep everything we want to write down, quick little notes from clients, things to remember, in addition to the daily and weekly planner pages, which I haven't even shown you yet. That's just the tool part of this planner. Can you believe it? It is chock full of features and great things to get systems into your business and keep track of the progress that you're making and the plans that you're making. I'm very proud of this, and I hope that you love it. An additional addition, for lack of a better word, clearly, is I wanted this planner to be even more cross-functional than previous iterations. So everywhere you see a date or a month, you will be able to click on it and take it to that page. So of course, January here is going to bring you to your January month planner. Pretty cool, right? These are clickable here as well as up here. Then let's take a look at the day. We got a little preview of it when we looked at the appointment book, but we've got our schedule all the way from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And you don't typically have to scroll on the page. That's just because we have the menu bar down here in GoodNotes. But essentially, you've got half-hour increments here on the daily page. We have our priorities, our focus, any tasks and checkboxes, as well as notes. So it's all in one spot. And then, of course, you can take a look at that day in the appointment book, which is super fun. So let's go back to that day in the daily pages. Click the date to see that day in the appointment planner. And then if you're like, well, Ashley, I don't typically need to see that, I would rather see the week. Guess what? We'll just take you to the week. In the week here, we've got our Large layout, we have weekly priorities, sales, supplies, miscellaneous things to remember for that week, tasks, any content opportunities that you're seeing. And then an additional functionality I added is the ability to click these days. So when you take a look at the week, you get a bird's eye view of your week. You can click that to see the day in the planner. And then down here, you can click on a specific day in the month. Hey, what's going on January 27th? Well, let's take a look. So that is a new functionality for the 2024 version of the planner. All right, let's take a look at our month. Month at a glance, everything here really sort of more of a high level overview of the month. This does differ from the actual month pages that you see in these tabs. I wanted there to be a second area where we could keep track of maybe what we had put on our promotional calendar. How much do we need to save this month and what is our progress? But of course, all of these days listed here, as well as these weeks, are linked. So January 13th takes me to January 13th. Week 1 of January takes me to week 1. I wanted to make sure that this was as intuitive as possible and that everything that you can click can take you directly to where you want to go within the planner without having to necessarily navigate back to the dashboard and then hit another button. I wanted it to be one click for you. So something to remember when it comes to clicking on the weeks, you actually have to click on the week number itself. That'll take you to that week and then the number for the date. So let's take a look at February. Let's say I want to take a look at week 8. I just click the 8 and that'll take me to that corresponding weekly planner page for that week in the calendar. Okay. So in addition to the day, week, month planner pages, of course, we have on every page this peach dot here that I mentioned in the beginning of the tutorial and tour that takes you to the appointment book. Down here we have the other tabs that we touched on briefly in the tour. I wanted to call out though specifically the client tab. It is important to keep accurate client records just for internal use, of course, with our clients' contact information, the date of service or any products that they may have needed, formulas, things like that, as well as maybe, topics you discussed. You can really use this column for anything, as well as the fact that it is in alphabetical order by last name, and these are all linked. So if I wanted to take a look at clients with the last name S, there are several pages here. If you need more, you can just duplicate the page, and that way you can access all of your client information right in one spot. Hitting the tab again obviously takes you back to A. So you can move through this. I think there's 5 pages per letter. Of course, obviously you'll likely need more. Always duplicate, never delete. Yeah, they're color coded as well to just help you realize what page you're on. So I know I'm in one of the C pages because it is highlighted and takes you all the way to Z. So that's another fun addition. This is something that normally comes separately from my shop. I wanted to make sure, again, we went for an all-in-one approach. You have everything you possibly need. So let's go over what is in each of these tabs specifically and any other additional callouts so that you know what you're actually getting in this planner. So of course, we have our day, our week, our month, and then in the marketing section, we have the social media planner, which takes you through, there's several pages here. If you need more, you're welcome to duplicate. And then we have the social media workbook, the content calendars, the results tracker, and this is by month, of course. So there's, guess what, 12 of those. And then we move into the promotions calendar, and then we move into money. So this, the supply tracker starts the money tab, and that takes you to your expense tracker, and then into the income tracker. So that's all the money stuff. Sales tracker, of course, in the money tab. And then we move to plans. This is where we have the quarterly review and goal setting worksheets. And then moving into the service pricing is where tools starts. Then after service pricing, we get into the documents. Brain dump is the last of the tools. The documents tab is where you have important contacts sheet. This is the one that comes in front of where you would drag and drop your lease and things. So here I just wanted to do like a quick roundup of like, hey, here's my landlord, here's maintenance, here's my attorney, here's my plumber, name, number, email, notes, just so that it's literally all in one spot. And then once you get through the documents section, you move into the appointment book. and gave you some extra blank document sections here just to put miscellaneous things, notes, whatever you like, your stickers, and then this starts the appointment page. Now, if you're thinking, Ashley, I really don't want to just necessarily come to the first week of the appointment page every time, I thought of that. And essentially, as you're working through the book, and let's say, okay, I'm planning in August, I'm in August 17th, and I don't want to have to scroll through that entire appointment book. Remember, you just click the date and it takes you to that date in that week of the appointment planner. And then once the appointment book is done, I'm not going to scroll through it because there's a lot of pages of that. This takes you into the client's notes and records and then into your blank note pages. So this is a 528 page planner that has so many of my favorite features and things that I find to be useful in my business. There's some notes here to remember. Of course, do not delete any pages as it will break the functionality of the links. And there is a font that you may want to download and install. That link is here. And then anytime you want to just say, now what was this for? This video will be linked right here in this YouTube link. And essentially, yeah, you have the ability to navigate back and forth through this planner very easily. And I've really thought about how this would work in daily business use, what is the most convenient. But of course, if you run into any issues at all, feel free to drop me a line. I'm here to help, and I'm here to make this planner incredibly useful for you. So if you have any feedback, I would welcome that as well. And I hope that you really enjoy the 2024 Small Business Planner. Thanks so much for watching. And again, linked down in the description is the link to this planner on the Etsy shop. I hope you have a phenomenal, profitable, and just outstanding 2024. Thanks so much.